Boston Bruins come home after a disappointing 5-game road trip, and the Canucks trying to build on a promising start to a 5-game road trip of their own. This is Game 4. They've won 2 of the first 3, and this one with their old friends. As we welcome you, Billy Jaffe, Doug MacLean alongside. In a moment, I'm Brad Fay. There's Dan Murphy at TD Garden. Murphy, every time we talk Bruins and Canucks, seems we're talking about a goalie change, but this one is looking to be permanent.
Yes, Brad, 51 weeks ago, the Canucks traded away Roberto Luongo, and Eddie Lack became the #1 goalie. It did not go well. Started 19 straight. Body broke down. Canucks didn't play well, and he didn't play well. He feels he's better equipped to handle the burden now. Alex Burrows set to miss his 3rd consecutive game with a lower body injury. That means Zack Kassian is with the Sedin twins again. It's something Canucks fans have been calling for 2 years, and he's looked good so far beside the Twins. 3 goals his last 2 games. And are the Bruins back? Big win over Chicago a couple of days ago in Chicago, looking more like the Bruins teams of the past few seasons. But they're without David Krejci, and they haven't looked good before that. So people are hoping the team they saw in Chicago is the one that shows up tonight. Brad?
All right, Murph, they shared shutout for the Canucks against the New York Islanders, and that's the season high tying in the NHL, 8th for Vancouver. But now it's Lack's show. There's nobody to come in before him or after him for a while.
Well, after him could be Jacob Markstrom, but they're hoping that they can rely on Eddie Lack to be the man. And this is why they brought him in. This is why they said, all right, listen, this is a different team than what you did the 19 in a row with last year. Much better mental state right now in Vancouver, though. Not just Eddie Lack, but the whole team, the whole organization, obviously different coaching staff. So they looked at him and they say, look, you say you're confident, you got your focus in a better place, you showed really good skill the other night, stopping 27 in the win over the New York Islanders. Now he gets to face against the Boston Bruins. The question is, can he do it regularly? There's some belief out there that this guy, who's got a real effusive personality, likes to joke around, he can be the guy. But it's going to be his mental focus, and he cannot allow that bad goal at a key time.
Ken, I hope he's as funny in a month's time as he is right now, because they desperately need him to take the ball and run with it. Fine to say Markstrom, but Willie's hoping that this guy is the guy that's in there long term. They need him to be good.
You can't separate consistency and Zack Kassian. They come together, and now 8 games since that long-term benching, 8 points, 6 goals involved in there. Is that a long enough stretch to say that he's found it?
Well, it's the longest we've seen in a long time, because it seems every pregame and every intermission we're talking about this guy, whether it's because he's in the doghouse, whether he's a healthy scratch, whether he's not playing his role. But for whatever reason, with a couple of breaks, obviously with Burrows getting injured, and he gets a chance to play with these guys. And he's doing a good job defensively, something that's been questioned. He's been physical, something that's been questioned on a consistent basis. So, yeah, he looks good. This is the reason this trade was made, so that Zack Kassian could step in and be a top 6 forward. He's showing no signs yet that he can be that guy until recently. You got to give him credit for what he's done. And for the Canucks' sake, I hope he can keep it up, because he's that important to them if he plays the way he's capable of. But again, it's got to be more than 6-8 games. It's got to be over a period of time.
Yep, Zack Kassian, 2 assists last time against the Bruins, and it was the loss in 2011 that was the impetus for the trade. Hodgson for Kassian to get a little bit tougher. That management team's moved on, and Kassian getting another chance with this one tonight. John Shorthouse and John Garrett when we come back.
Frigid Boston, Massachusetts, where there are piles of snow still everywhere and sub-zero temperatures, but we can warm up inside. The TD Garden, where the Canucks play Game 4 of their 5-game road trip, come into it with a record of 2-1 thus far. Starting goalies brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the NHL. With the injury to Ryan Miller, Eddie Lack is thrust back into the starting role for the Canucks. Lack stopped all 27 he faced in relief of Miller on Long Island to earn the shared shutout on Sunday. And this is the 16th start in the last 18 games for Tuukka Rask. His win Sunday in Chicago ended a personal 5-game losing streak. Milestone game for Bruins coach Claude Julien, his 600th behind Boston's bench. He's second in tenure in the NHL currently. Only Mike Babcock has been with his team longer. And we're set to go. Henrik Sedin on a 4-game point streak. The NHL's second star of the week begins this game with brother Daniel and Zack Kassian up front. This is the Bruins' Dougie Hamilton shooting the puck in from center. And onto it is Brad Marchand behind the net. Here comes Patrice Bergeron. Puck rolls off his stick. And now Dan Hamhuis tries to get it ahead, held in by Riley Smith. His pass comes to Marchand, who centers for Bergeron to swing at the puck, but it's tipped past him and out to center. Now Kassian trying to steal. Out of the net comes Rask. Gets the puck ahead to Bergeron, who put it into his own bench. In fact, it might have gone over the glass behind the bench. Canucks are arguing that.
Well, and you can see Willie Desjardins asking the officials.
Doesn't look like there'll be
No,
any call.
I don't think there will be a call on that one. And Willie has always said you work with what you got. The injuries pile up for the Vancouver Canucks, and now without Ryan Miller. But Nick Bonino comes back, so you get one of your top 3 centermen back.
Sean Mathias moves back to the wing. Bonino in the middle. Radim Vrbata on the right side for this line. And Vrbata holds the puck into the left point. Intercepting is Louis Eriksson, and he dumps one ahead. Carl Soderberg moves in on the right wing, puts it on the backhand, goes round behind the net. Soderberg tries to center, knocked away by Lucas Spiza. Here's Dennis Seidenberg at the right point. Turning to try to get away from Mathias. Pokes the puck down the board. Soderberg to the net off the stick of Lack. Eriksson to the side, chops it in front. They score on the rebound. Daniel Paille. His first goal in 37 games, and the Bruins lead 65 seconds in.
Well, the Canucks just running around in their own zones. Doug and Billy were talking about Soderberg. He's a UFA after this season, takes the original shot, and he couldn't control the rebound. It went straight up in the air, and he couldn't find it. There's the shot. Now look at Eddie. He's trying to find it, slides over, and Paille is there on the back end, and you can see the Canucks, everybody comes back, but nobody takes Paille. Everybody's mesmerized by the puck.
And it slid just by Bonino and Spiza, who had a chance to clear it from the crease. Tough start for Vancouver in a building that has produced a lot of defeats. And they'll play from behind in this one after surrendering the opening goal for the 31st time this year. Brian Ferland trying to move in for Boston. Chris Higgins winds up with the puck. He goes rink wide. Here comes Derek Dorsett. Chips the puck in on the right wing. Moves in on Torrey Krug, who plays the puck around for Adam McQuaid. McQuaid sends it ahead. The puck dumped into the Vancouver zone by Jordan Caron. Ferland in on the forecheck. Caron gets the puck, puts it in front. It's deflected to Higgins, who carries back to center for Vancouver and plays the puck into Boston territory. Matt Bartkowski is back for the puck, starting from behind his own net. Pass to the side. Seidenberg trying to move the puck up. Comes to center to Riley Smith, who sends it forward. Bergeron gives chase in the Vancouver zone. Weber's on him, blocks the centering pass. Henrik Sedin muscles the puck ahead. Zach Kassian trying to move it up, but the Bruins hold it in the Vancouver zone. Marchand moves in on Weber, who's able to tip the puck around for Dan Hamhuis. He gets it ahead to Daniel Sedin. Rink wide to Weber, and ahead to Henrik Sedin, who deflects the puck in. Chara around for Hamilton, who gets a return pass from Riley Smith. Puck deflection into the Vancouver zone. Lucas Spiza takes control. Canucks without a shot. Bruins with a couple. Paille scoring on the second attempt on Eddie Lack. Here's Ryan Spooner into the Vancouver zone. Passing behind the goal. Bo Horvat tips the puck around. Jannik Hansen chops at it. Winds up on the stick of Alex Biega, who gets the puck to Ronnie Kemmins. Kemmins ahead to Hansen. Nice move of the line. Tips one in front. Kemmins on the backhand is stopped by Rask. First test for Rask and a close-in chance for Kemmins. Bruins at the other end with a pass deflected away, and here comes Hansen. 4 Canucks through center. Jannik Hansen in on the left wing. Drop pass. Stanton shoots. Scores! Ryan Stanton blew it past Rask. And on the rush, the Canucks tie the game in 1.
You need a line to give you a lift, and this line with Kennins and Jannik Hansen has given the Canucks a lift, a comeback lift. Here's the play. Turn the defense and open the ice up. And Ryan Stanton just blows it by Tuukka Rask. You can see the defense get caught up with Jannik Hansen wide, and that opens it up. And a little bit of a screen. Dennis Seidenberg turned a little bit to Hansen, then got in the way of Tuukka Rask, and Ryan Stanton, good hard high shot by Tuukka Rask.
Third goal of the season for Ryan Stanton. It comes at 3:28. Canucks breaking in with numbers with the Bruins changing on the back check. And Hansen teed it up for the trailing defenseman.
Well, that was after the great Kennan's chance, John, and again, Jannik Hansen set that one up.
Shot attempt by Weber. Now the puck is chipped past him by Pyatt. Dan Hamhuis tips it forward to Nick Bonino into the middle for Mathias. Bruins take that away, and Pyatt backhands the puck into the Vancouver zone. Here's Derek Dorsett. Rink wide for Higgins. Puck goes high in the air, falls at the feet of Higgins. Adam McQuaid taps it around for Torrey Krug. Rink wide, here's Chris Kelly. He dumps the puck in. Caron gives chase. Battling Adam Clendening. Stealing the puck is Lyndon Vane. And Dorsett brings it out, chips it forward. Higgins giving chase. Just getting to it first was Krug, and now the puck deflects to Rask, who covers for the whistle.
Canucks hockey. Brought to you by Subway. Discover the new chicken cordon bleu melt and Montreal smoked meat sandwich. Subway. Eat fresh.
Ryan Stanton answering the opening goal by Boston, and a winner on score and win for Safeway and Refresh Spring Water. Anthony Osborne of Vancouver, he won a Lagostina 10-piece cookware set. Just the one assist to Hansen, who led the rush up the ice, and now the Bruins called for icing. There'll be a face-off in the Boston zone.
Ryan Stanton's last couple of goals, he's shown some offensive flair. A good read by Stanton this time. I don't know whether that hit Seidenberg's stick. You can see Tuukka Rask giving Seidenberg a little look.
Looked like it jumped up, didn't it?
Yes.
Canucks will take it as they pull even in the first period. Jannik Hansen back out there with Horvat and Kennans. Chara starts from behind his goal, feeds the puck ahead. Here's Milan Lucic. Spooner moves in on the forecheck, and Lucic in after the puck. Gets it, centers it, it's all the way back to the line. Bartkowski with a drive. That was blocked by Jannik Hansen. Seidenberg, long wrist shot, deflected, and Lack able to close the door, squeeze the pads, and make the save.
Well, that's a good feel for Eddie Lack, who scored on early. Spooner tips this one, and Lack in good position, able to squeeze it and hang on. Now here's the shot by Stanton, and it's off Seidenberg's stick. Usually I'm pretty good at getting that. I missed one in New Jersey the other night, the Eliash goal from the boards.
Went off Hamhuis.
Hit Dan Hamhuis' stick, and that one off Seidenberg's stick. What's your excuse? We're a long way up here.
Canucks are called for icing.
They talked about that line, Kennans and Jannik Hansen and Bo Horvat giving the team a lift. They had a great scoring chance before the Stanton goal, and you can see their ice time. It's getting more and more every game. Key face-offs.
Carl Soderberg after the puck deep in the Vancouver zone. Nick Bonino comes back, moves it up the board. Mathias couldn't move it out. Now Spiza chops the puck forward, and here comes Sean Mathias. Hit the linesman as he tried to tip that one in. Spiza regains control just inside his own blue line. Nearing the 6-minute mark, first period, a 1-1 tie. Bonino risks the puck in from center and heads off on a change. Here's Bartkowski. Gets a return pass from Seidenberg. Banks one forward, and that's off Daniel Sedin's stick and into the Vancouver bench. Couple of goals, one each way. Even here in Boston.
This period brought to you by the bold new 2015 Toyota Camry. One bold choice leads to another.
We remind you to play Safeway's $1 million score and win. If any Vancouver player scores 5 goals in tonight's game, Wanda Janovich of Surrey could win $1 million.
I don't think Ryan Stanton's had a 5-goal game.
I don't either. I'll have to check the records. Here's Riley Smith playing the puck to the corner. Sent to the blue line off Hamilton, sticking out to center. Bruins will tag up after he shot the puck back in.
You talked about Daniel Paille. It's his first goal in 37 games. And he had a stretch of 36 games before his last goal. He had 1 goal in 72 games. And a healthy scratch. 2 games preceding this one.
Here's Hughes for Daniel Sedin, who deflects the puck in. Bruins send it up the middle. Spooner ahead to center. Marchand was heading off, but he takes the pass, dumps the puck in. Pasternak is after it. Well, the Canucks get the puck around to Clendening, ahead to Linden Bay, trying to get it to Daniel Sedin. Couldn't handle the pass. Bruins move back in, but Lucic was trapped offside, and the whistle blows.
Ryan Miller gets bumped into. Ryan Miller had a good start to this game in Long Island. The first 5 minutes he was absolutely great. And then in the second period, Jannik Hansen comes back and his backside goes right into the right leg of Ryan Miller. And he just adds his name to that list. Kevin Bieksa's his injury was January 20th. So I would assume that he's going to get his cast off relatively soon.
Willie Desjardins was quite effusive in his praise of the team for the effort on Long Island in the face of all this adversity, and finding a way to win and hoping they can do the same here in Boston.
Well, especially those defensemen. You look at all those defensemen who are out, and Jim Benning looks on, and Dan Hamhuis has played more games than the other 5 guys combined.
Here's a long shot from the line that changed direction, and Black was just able to get a piece of it. Bruins getting good traffic to the net early. Clendening up the middle to Vane, passes back to Adam Clendening. Starts from behind the Vancouver goal, lifts a high one to the Boston blue line. Higgins trying to track the puck for Vancouver. Vane checked as he tried to move in. Now a weak pass to center, knocked away by Biega, but Pasternak dumps the puck into the Vancouver zone. Back forward is Lucas Spiza. And he's seen his responsibilities and minutes increase in the absence of all that experience on the blue line. Jannik Hansen after a loose puck. Kennens gets it in the corner, knocked away from him. Bartkowski being pursued by Bo Horvat. Bruins chip the puck to the near side. Ferland is after it. Now Hansen from the corner. Passes to the other side. Biega with a drive, and that went off Jordan Caron and over the glass for a whistle. Well, the Canucks aren't the only ones dealing with injuries. Boston has a pretty significant one.
Well, David Krejci tries to step up on Alex Steen in the St. Louis game, and Steen sees him coming at the last minute, goes down. And Krejci over top. He's got an MCL problem.
Bruins announcing yesterday he'll be out quite a while. And they'll try to make do without one of their top players. They open the scoring in this one. Stanton has tied it. Now here's Clendening with a shot, tipped wide by Nick Bonino. Bonino back in after missing 7 games. On the block shot, Ryan Suter. Here's Carl Soderberg centering, and unable to make contact with that. Was Paille going to the net? Soderberg knocked down by Stanton. Puck comes free to Verbata, but gets by him. Thrown towards the goal by Louis Eriksson, intercepted by Bonino, who carries to center and dumps the puck into the Boston zone. 9 minutes gone, first period, a 1-1 tie. Chara having trouble with the puck. Feeds it over to Hamilton. Sent ahead, deflected in by Smith. Andrews faked one way, went the other. Weber tips the puck to Cassie. And in the middle to Yannick Weber. Ahead to Daniel Sedin, who dumps one to the other side. Henrik Sedin gets to the puck on the right wing. Tried to feed behind the goal. Hamilton cuts at him. But Daniel Sedin steals the puck back. Daniel to the blue line. Hamhuis tried to find Cassie for a deflection. Bruins tip the puck to the side, send it ahead to center. Hamhuis checks Bergeron. And Henrik Sedin winds up with the puck, tries to get it to Cassie, but he couldn't knock it down, and the Bruins dump it over the Vancouver blue line. Here's Biega. Up for Dorsey. Hamhuis takes the back pass, looks up ice, finds Linden Bay, who deflects the puck into the Boston end. Crew around from a McQuaid. And the Bruins move out. Spooner onto the right wing. Here's Lucic. Stopping to get away from Spiza. Feeds back. McQuaid had to take it on the backhand. And the puck winds up going off a stick and out of play. A 1-1 tie. The Canucks and the Bruins. You're watching Canucks hockey live on Sportsnet.
Well, there was hockey in this building last night as Jim Benning watched his nephew in overtime. Matt Benning take a penalty against BU. It's Northeastern versus BU. And then B's draft pick, Matt Grzelcyk, scored the overtime winner to win it for Boston University. Cool story, too, because his dad has worked here at the Garden for close to 30 years on the crew.
It's cool. We met him in the elevator today.
Yes.
Claude Julien was there as well. And Matt's dad said, Coach, I hope my son's playing for you in a couple of years. But he brought the roof off this place last night with the overtime goal. Defensive zone draw for the Canucks. Bo Horvat wins it. Biega missed the puck, however. Ferland's onto it. Sharp angle shot. Stopped by Lack. He's able to gather the puck in the crease after the turnover behind the goal.
Bo Horvat wins the faceoff, and a little hesitation. That's all it takes. Lucas Spiza, one hand on the stick, doesn't throw it hard enough around, and that allows the Bruins a chance, and Eddie Lack right on the post to make the save.
Spiza sporting stitches after taking that puck in the mouth at the bench on Long Island. Says he may lose a tooth out of it. Kennan's hit hard, but bounces off the check. Here's Horvat in on the left wing. Bo Horvat had his stick lifted. Hansen in front, jamming away, and Rask is able to cover. Ronnie Kennans took a pretty good jolt and might be still trying to shake it off here at the end of the shift.
Well, that created the 2-on-1. Good back check by the Bruins. Bo Horvat head up. As his stick lifted, it slides through, but it's too tight. And Jannik Hansen can't get it before Tuukka Rask gets his glove on it.
Alex Biega has a skate problem as Kennans gets checked out at the Vancouver bench. And Biega has left the bench for a moment to get the skate dealt with, so the Canucks with 5 defensemen for the time being. Mike Bernstein still talking to Kennans. He was really stopped in his tracks there. A little whiplash it looked like, but as you say, it created the odd man rush. Nick Bonino passes to Ryan Stanton. 9 minutes to go, first period, a 1-1 tie. Sean Matthias on the left wing. Pass to the middle. Bonino turns, tries to get one to the right point. That deflects to Rask, who taps the puck over to Bartkowski. Paille deep in his own zone. Matthias trying to check in, but the Bruins fire the puck to Louis Eriksson. He delays before sending it in off the glass. Bruins come up with the puck. Send it to the blue line. Chara to Hamilton. Pass to the corner. Here's Marchand. Brad Marchand trying to wrist shot. That deflects back towards Hamilton. Canucks missed the puck trying to get it out. Marchand shoots and he ripped it wide. Kassian turns back in his own zone to allow the Sedins to get onto the ice. Now dishes the puck to Adam Clendenning. He gives it away at center to Patrice Bergeron, and the Bruins move back in. Smith on the right wing with a wrist shot. Swallowed up by Lack. And he hangs on for the stoppage in play.
Get ready for game time with over 100 menu items. Order now at bostonpizza.com for delivery.
Sean Matthias getting checked out by Mike Bernstein on the Vancouver bench. Here's Krug with a long shot. Ooh, that just missed. Might have caught a piece of the post. Bruins maintain control. Pass to the line. Now Riley Smith on the right wing. Centering pass. Winds up on the stick of Dan Hughes. He fanned as he tried to get the puck ahead. Higgins turns. Flips it forward. Held in by Marchand. Centering pass. Weber breaks it up for the Bruins. Get the puck back. Canucks sloppy in their own zone right now. Dorsett will try to move the puck ahead. Now it's flipped forward by Weber and out to center. Played back in by Chara. Hughes goes back. Along the inboards to Weber. Stolen by Chris Kelly, but taken back by Yannick Weber. Ahead to Dorsett, who backhands the puck off the boards and out. Kelly moves the puck back to the corner. Hamhuis trying to check him, pokes it free to Daniel Sedin. Soderberg comes out of the pile with the puck. Back in deep. Hamhuis under pressure from Kelly. Able to get it ahead to Henrik Sedin. Here's Lucas Spiza stepping up through center. Ahead to Kassian. Wrist one. Right into the glove of Rask. And he hangs on for the whistle. Murph.
John, Canucks TV tonight at 11 on Sportsnet Pacific features My Game with Radim Vrbata, All Access with Alex Burrows, and Hockey Talks.
There's a look at Radim Vrbata, who's been very effective no matter who he's played with this year, especially on the power play last game. He looked really good, that four-man set.
Canucks went 2 for 3 with the man advantage against the Islanders. That was after going scoreless in 16 of their 20 previous games with the man advantage.
And they were able to kill off all 5 Islander power plays.
This face-off will come back into the Vancouver zone.
Boy, oh boy, that was close. You're not getting the home field advantage on the icing calls at TD Garden.
There's Jacob Markstrom, who's in and getting the call with Ryan Miller injured, backing up Eddie Lack tonight. You think it's Lack's ball to run with pretty much all the way?
Yes, I do. Depends on how he plays naturally, but the schedule is very favorable for the Canucks. They don't play back-to-back again until March 21st, 20th, 21st, or 21st, 22nd.
Bo Horvat after the puck in the Boston zone. Kennan skates onto it. Ronnie Kennan cycles down to the corner. Horvat and Krug after it. Here's Jannik Hansen. Again, Horvat after the puck. It's kicked away from him. And McQuaid dumps the puck around for Torrey Krug. Under 6 minutes to go in the first. Pasternak heads to the bench after tipping the puck into the Canucks end. Black swings it around to Clendening. Here's Nick Bonino through center onto the right wing. Vrbata with a shot, stick saved by Rask. Vrbata and Seidenberg collide. Caron trying to chop the puck forward. And the Bruins roll it down into the Vancouver zone. Shots are 5 apiece. And just over 5 is the amount of time remaining in the first period as Bonino starts another change by dumping the puck in. Patrice Bergeron over the Vancouver line, sends one in front out of the reach of Marchand. Smith tips the puck to the end boards. Bergeron after it there. There's Alex Biega, who's back out after having a skate repair. Hamilton in behind for Marchand. Cutting that off is Spiza. And Lyndon Vey circles his net, makes a hard pass to the side to Biega. Rink wide, here's Spiza. In over the Boston line on the left wing. Drop pass, Higgins with a shot, stick saved by Rask. Spiza plays the puck to the far side. Marchand there, bodied by Dorset. Hamhuis can't hold the puck in. Here comes Soderberg. Moving in on Spiza. Tries a wrist shot, and that's handled easily. Covered by Eddie Lack, who takes the whistle. 4:16 to go on the first, and the Canucks and the Bruins even at 1.
There is Jacob Markstrom, who when the Canucks signed Ryan Miller, there were reports that he wasn't happy, wanted out of Vancouver's system. But by all accounts, he's gone to Utica and had a great attitude this year. He's worked hard with Dan Cloutier as well as Wooly Melanson. He's been down to see him a couple of times, and the numbers just speak for themselves. He's been outstanding. Look at the goals against average under 2, a save rate over .930. He's played a ton of games, and his stock continues to rise. The Canucks have fielded calls on this guy. Teams are just trying to steal him right now. They think he's a real asset once again.
And glad to have him in this predicament with Ryan Miller headed back to Vancouver.
Played in the American League All-Star game.
Here's a steal by Henrik Sedin. In on the right side. Slows, turns, centers. Daniel, puck just got away from it. Now it's grabbed by Marchand. Held on to that one for a bit. The play goes on, and Riley Smith carries him on the right wing. Weber checks in. Daniel Sedin gets the puck ahead to Zach Kassian. Through center, over the Boston line. Puck knocked away from him as he tried to get around to Hamilton. And the Bruins take control deep in their own zone. Hamilton ahead to Soderberg. Stanton steps into him. Paillet's onto the puck in the corner. Checked by Clendening. At the right point, here's McQuaid. Other side, Krug. Now Soderberg sends one towards the goal. It went off the stick of Bo Horvat and just wide. Stanton ahead to Hansen. One touch pass to Kennens and now to Horvat. Moving in on Krug. Bo Horvat across for Kennens. That's broken up and the Bruins break out. Three of them to center. Puck to Paillet. Long shot. Eriksson on the rebound. Now loose at the side. And the shot by Krug never materialized. Paillet to the other side. Krug sends one towards the front, deflects to Jannik Hansen. He tried to make a move, lost the puck. Soderberg centers off the left pad of Lack. Biega deep in his own zone, tips the puck around, but there's nobody there. Jordan Caron for Boston. For Louis Eriksson, he's checked. And Kennens finally an opportunity to get the puck out, slides it down to the Bruins blue line. Canucks complete their change as Boston moves back in. Under 2.5 to go in the first. 1-1 tie. Sean Matthias to Radim Bravada. Slows as he moves in on the left wing. Drops. Here's a chance for Bonino. And the puck got away from him as he made a move getting around Brian Furlan. Bonino from the corner. Hard pass back. Hamhughes shoots wide of the goal. Bravada's onto the loose puck. Sends one towards the crease and Rask able to grab that puck and get the whistle.
Couple of chances for the Canucks, but all the action after that Bo Horvat pass was picked off. A 3-on-2. Rebound off Eddie Lack. And then the rolling puck goes high. Good deflection by Louis Eriksson. Stopped by Eddie Lack. Got the left pad out to make that save.
Final 2
one
minutes.
Of those, John, and Jannik had a chance at the end of a long shift to get that one out. Didn't, and everything happened after that.
Here's Derek Dorsett working out of the corner. McQuaid is on him. Bruins get the puck to center. Pastrnak. Clendening stumbled. Pasternak's in to the net, and the puck knocked away. Hustling back was Ryan Stanton to make the defensive play after Clendening lost his balance, and Pastrnak moved in now at the other end. Rask handles the backhander from Dorsett and gets the stoppage in play.
This period brought to you by the bold new 2015 Toyota Camry. One bold choice leads to another.
Adam Clendening has a little problem. He's turning the wrong way and he stumbles, creates a chance, and Eddie Lack called on to make another good save.
Clendening thankful that didn't result in a go-ahead goal for Boston. He's on the bench as Hamhughes and Weber come out. Weber intercepts the puck at center and passes across to Dan Hamhughes up the middle. Daniel Sedin circles back to his own line and feeds Hamhughes. Minute 10 to go in the first. Hamhughes slowly to center. Bruins clogging up the neutral zone. Now sends a long one ahead, deflected forward by Daniel Sedin. Zdeno Chara flips the puck, and it's off Weber and out of play. Now Weber and Marchand are after each other in the neutral zone. Cassian's there as well. Henrik Sedin comes in and grabs Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand, as Yannick Weber tried to reach up to get the puck, Marchand gave him a shot. Referees haven't really been anxious to give anybody any power plays in this one. We saw Marchand carrying the puck for about 10 feet his last shift. A couple of questionable little hooks in the Vancouver zone when they were running around, not called.
Face off right at center. Soderberg able to step around Horvat, and the puck is sent into the Vancouver zone. Hansen to Horvat. Backhands the puck ahead. Kennens is after it. Here's Stanton moving in on the left wing with a wrist shot. Fought off by Rask, who couldn't squeeze that one.
Another one tipped by his defenseman.
Hansen wrists one towards the goal. Here's Kennens at the side, round behind the net. Ronnie Kennens to the right point. Spiza feeds in deep for Horvat. Seidenberg steps in front of Horvat, who's able to knock the puck away, but there to pick it up is Matt Bartkowski, who rings it around for Louis Eriksson. Soderberg moves up. 12 seconds to go in the period. Sends one across. Caron down the boards. Checked by Spiza. And Horvat gets the puck ahead. Hansen moves it out. And that's going to do it for period number 1 here. Daniel Paille with a rare goal from him opened the scoring for Boston, but Ryan Stanton got it back, his 3rd of the year. Eddie Lack stopped 7 of the 8 Boston shots he faced. 20 minutes done here at the TD Garden. Second meeting of the year between these two, and all even as we send it back to Brad Fay.
Welcome back to Boston. Canucks and Bruins wrapping up their season series. Canucks defeated them just 11 days ago. This one's tied at 1. Scoring somewhere looks like this, just a $1.05 into this one. Daniel Paille with his 2nd of the season, but it didn't take long for the Canucks to respond. Stan with his 3rd.
It's Fresh Take time, folks. The popular John Garrett feature brought to you as always by Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Well, Dan mentioned this, the quick comeback, 2 minutes and 23 seconds after the Bruins scored. And it's Jannik Hansen back to Ryan Stanton for Ryan Stanton's 3rd of the year. And that's a good fresh take bounce back for the Canucks, not letting this one get out of hand.
Ryan Stanton got his first career goal last year in Buffalo, where the Canucks will play next as they conclude this 5-game road trip on Thursday against the Sabres. Right now, knotted at 1 as we begin the 2nd period in Boston, and Patrice Bergeron wins the 2nd period faceoff. Chara sends the puck ahead. It's deflected into the Vancouver zone and picked up by Dan Hamhuis. Hamhuis goes up the boards over the head of Chara, which isn't easy to do, but the puck goes over the glass. I think it went off Chara. The faceoff should come outside the line.
Well, that's it, and I think the linesmen are making the call on that one. Zdeno Chara's playing less this year. He's been hurt, but he's averaged almost 25 minutes a game since he came into the NHL. This year, he's just barely over 22. In that first period, he was only at 6 minutes. He just doesn't look like the old Zdeno Chara. Billy and Doug were talking about his age and the window for the Bruins, and a lot of it does depend on the health and wellness of Zdeno Chara.
Zach Kassian, puck hit a spot of water and stopped, and he's able to recover. And now Yannick Weber moves through center and on the left wing. Weber gets to the corner, dumps the puck around to the near side. Henrik Sedin in for Daniel Sedin. Back up to Henrik, looking in front, dumps the puck behind the goal. Kassian checked by the long reach of Chara. Daniel Sedin gets the puck. Kassian behind the goal to Henrik. Chop one through the crease and out the other side, and the Bruins muscle the puck to the line, but not out. Now the puck out of play at the Vancouver bench. We have a trade to announce. Sean Bergenheim has gone to Minnesota. And there'll be lots more to tell you about likely on Monday. It's Hockey Central trade deadline. Sportsnet's deep roster of experts bringing you key analysis, strategy, and the drama of deadline day. Get inside the game with hockey's best. Hockey Central trade deadline Monday beginning at 5 a.m.
Well, some of the GMs have a lot of UFAs. Jim Benning only has 2. And Sean Mathias and Derek Dorsett, I think he wants to keep both of them. Obviously, Dale Talon, with Bergenheim being a UFA, 30 years old, get something for him.
3rd round pick is what they got, with Bergenheim and a 7th round selection going to Minnesota. Seidenberg in deep for Paille. Mathias trying to clear. Seidenberg sprawls at the blue line to try to hold the puck in. Now brought out by Sean Mathias. He's checked by Soderberg. Puck squirts free to Spiza, and he passes across to Ryan Stanton. 2 minutes into the second. 1-1 tie, and Spiza backhands the puck in from center. Ronnie Kennens after the puck. Bruins get it by him, and they move ahead. Lead pass. Pastrnak in on Clendening, who was able to knock the puck away. And now he banks it around for Ryan Stanton. Stanton chips one off the glass and out. Torrey Krug dumps the puck the other way. Pastrnak is after it on the right wing. He's got teammates in front. Now he's hooked. Taken down. Fans react to it. No call on Stanton, and the Canucks break through center. 4 of them into the Boston zone. Hansen centering pass picked off them. Bruins failed to clear. They were trying to get the puck to Pastrnak at center. Now it's in front, and what a save as Rask was able to stop Ronnie Kennens on the doorstep. Lucic tips the puck into the Vancouver zone. Tries to hook it behind the goal to Pastrnak. Hansen intercepts. End of his shift. He gets to center and dumps the puck in. Lyndon Bay after it. Cleared away by the goaltender Rask. Now Hamhuis is going to get a penalty. Stanton got away with one. But Dan Hamhuis will head off for hooking, and the first power play of the game goes to Boston.
What a save by Tuukka Rask. Kennens is all alone. Puck kept in. Quick one-timer, and Tuukka Rask coming across, gets his glove on it, able to keep it out. Hamhuis in the penalty box. Chris Kelly got the puck by Dan Hamhuis, and he reached around, ends up with a hooking call.
Bruins win the face-off, set up with the man advantage. Looking for their second lead of the game in a 1-1 tie. Spiza able to get the puck to Higgins. Weak clearing attempt held in by Boston. Hamilton was able to intercept that attempt by Higgins, but now he's got the puck again, and he brings it out through center. Higgins slows, plays the puck down the boards. Bruins take it away, throw it ahead to Louis Eriksson. Drop pass to Ryan Spooner. He settles the puck on the left wing, works his way into the corner. Now leaves the puck there for Eriksson, who swings it back to Hamilton. 35 seconds gone in the Boston power play. Krug at the right point. High slot to Bergeron. Touch pass to Spooner. Side of the net, Eriksson centers that one off Stanton and just wide of the goal. Now a chance for Bergeron. Back to Krug. Other side. Mathias got a stick on that pass, but couldn't move the puck out. Bergeron turns on the right wing. Sends one across. Oh, Mathias, and that narrowly missed as well. That was even closer than the initial deflection off Stanton. Now the puck deflects out of play off of Bruin, so the faceoff will come outside the Vancouver blue line.
Well, a couple of fortunate bounces for the Canucks. First, it's off Ryan Stanton, just misses, and then this one's about a 25-footer off Sean Mathias, and that just goes by the post.
Bruins on the power play. Doesn't happen very often. They have the fewest opportunities in the NHL this season. Riley Smith has the puck at his own blue line. Bo Horvat out there in a penalty killing role along with Jannik Hansen. Spiza and Biega on defense. Hamhuis unavailable. He's the man in the box. Biega missed that puck. Now he skates to it, tips it around for Spiza. Tried to chip it forward for Horvat. Bruins take the puck back. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Smith at the left point over to Chara. One-timer. Lacked the save. Can't find the rebound, but Horvat does. He fires it into the Boston bench, so the faceoff will stay in the Vancouver zone with 26 seconds to go on the man advantage.
Now the Canucks penalty killers, without Dan Hamhuis, it's a little bit panic back there. Had a couple of chances to get it out. Eddie Lack through the screen of Soderberg, able to find it, and the two Swedish players had a little chat.
Bruins win another faceoff. Spooner to Bergeron, back to Hamilton. Here's Krug with a drive. Lack moving to his right, get the save, then he stopped the rebound as well. Eriksson didn't get good wood on it. And Eddie Lack has the puck with 17 seconds to go on the penalty to Hamhuis. And a little extracurricular stuff at the side of the Vancouver goal.
Well, the Bruins have been able to stand and screen in front of Eddie Lack, and that time Patrice Bergeron was there. The shot comes through. Louis Eriksson's there. Eriksson is the screen right in front of Eddie Lack. Eddie picks it up, gets it with his right shoulder, and then able to track down the rebound.
Bergeron wins yet another faceoff. Hamilton delays, lets it go off the arm of Lack. Loose puck, jamming away, and the Canucks get it down the ice. Some hairy moments around the Vancouver goal crease. But here comes Hamhuis back into the game. Bruins 0 for 1 on the power play. Had 4 shot attempts on that man advantage. Now another one from Bergeron, knocked down by Lack. Stanton can't move the puck, but it's intercepted by Henrik Sedin. He leads a 3-on-2 through center. Henrik with Daniel and Hamhuis. Henrik in, centers Daniel. Had a weak shot go wide. Daniel Sedin holds the puck in. Now he's checked. Eriksson after it at center. Knocked down as he forced the puck in on the left wing. Spiza takes control for the Canucks. Nice burst of speed from behind the net. And a good pass to Lyndon Bay. He's in on the right wing. Bay hooked as he tried to get a shot away. Dorsett working out of the corner, has the puck knocked away by Seidenberg. And it's through to Ferland, who feeds into the middle. Bruins get away with that one. Bartkowski sends the puck ahead. Ferland did well to take that pass. He works his way to the corner. Around the net and out the near side. Brian Ferland all the way back to the blue line, trying to hook one on goal. That was blocked. Hamhuis gets the loose puck. Clearing attempt hit Dorsett in the skate, and the puck stays in the Vancouver zone. Brad Marchand checked by Biega, who tips the puck in behind the goal for Hamhuis. A little over 6 minutes gone, second period, a 1-1 tie. Vein and Canucks offside as the pass to Dorsett didn't quite work. He and Marchand mix it up a bit. And we'll head to break here, tied at 1 in Boston.
Well, Bruins goalie Tuukka Rask will find his name on another prestigious list this spring, a list of newly discovered wasp species from East Africa. His insect namesake discovered in Kenya by a team of entomologists that happened to include a Boston sports fan who moved to Africa more than 25 years ago. Rask has heard of dogs and cats being named Tuukka around these parts, but nothing else that he knows of. No bad babies and definitely no species. So there is a wasp on the bees.
Well done.
Very good, Murph.
I have a wasp phobia.
Oh, I don't blame you. And that's not a real attractive wasp as wasps go.
Here's Nick Bonino sending a pass ahead. Ryan Stanton, the Canuck goal scorer, skates the puck to center. His pass hit Bonino. That stung. And Nick Bonino limping his way to the bench after being hit by that puck. Bruins Seidenberg with a long shot, stopped by Lack. He covers up. And Nick Bonino tries to shake it off at the Vancouver bench.
Oh, man. Nick Bonino just getting back into the lineup, and here comes Mike Bernstein. This one's higher up. You can see Bonino pointing to it. It's just off below the shin pad. And Mike Bernstein saying, oh, yeah, you'll be okay.
Lucic gets the puck on the face-off in the Vancouver zone. Now double teamed in the corner. Spooner working to dig the puck free for Boston. Comes out of the corner with it. Centers. Pasternak with a shot attempt. Missed the puck. And here's Bo Horvat ahead to Hansen. Kennens chases after the puck in the Boston zone. McQuaid rides him into the boards, but Horvat comes up with the puck for Vancouver. Working on Spooner. Bo Horvat trying to find some room. Does. Centers. Hansen. Deeks. Stopped by Rask. What a move by Hansen, moving in front after the work by Horvat in the corner. But it stays 1-1.
Boy, this line's been the best line for the Canucks. They were part of that Subway fresh take with the comeback. And here's Horvat in the corner, feeds Jannik Hansen. Good move inside, outside, and Tuukka Rask is looking for it, but he's got it. Rask comes out, gets the glove and arm down, and able to squeeze it.
Jannik Hansen, 6 points in his last 6 games. Couldn't add to that there. But the best opportunity of the period for Vancouver. Stays 1-1 with over 7 minutes gone in the second. Here's Riley Smith in on the left wing. Centering pass. A penalty coming up here, I think, to Daniel Sedin on the back check, as he was tying up Bergeron, and a hooking call to Sedin will put the Canucks shorthanded again.
And Daniel Sedin is saying, well, you know, you have let a whole lot go here. And here comes Bergeron's got body position on Daniel Sedin. That's a pretty good hook to stick underneath the arm of Bergeron.
Second power play for Boston. Bruins looked dangerous on the first opportunity. Had 4 shots on Lack, couldn't score. Here's Krug with a chance, shoots, and just missed. Might have caught a piece of the iron. Trying to go high glove side on Eddie Lack. Spooner has the puck on the right wing to the goal line. Erickson checked. Spooner centers. Bergeron with a one-timer, and Lack there to make the stop and hang on.
Eddie Lack good positionally, especially killing penalties. You cannot be nearly as aggressive as you would like. You have to stay in the blue paint, and Eddie Lack in good position on that one-timer by Bergeron. Hadn't moved a whole lot away from the post.
Shots are 7-2 Boston here in the second period. And another face-off win for the Bruins. Krug on the left side. Puts one in front, rebound, shot wide. Now centered again. Lack couldn't grab it, still loose. And the whistle blows with the puck in the Vancouver goal crease.
Eddie Lack has had some problems with the rebounds just in his pads. Thrown to the net, and there's the rebound. Goes to the side, another one comes. And fortunately for the Canucks, they get the quick whistle.
Bergeron wins the faceoff. Bruins have controlled every draw on the power play. I think here's Spooner with a shot blocked in front. Canucks clear to the line, held in. Higgins a chance to clear, couldn't do it. Puck deflects to the far corner. Erickson sends it towards the blue line. Dougie Hamilton long wrist shot blocked. Here's Krug at the left point. Moves into the faceoff circle, goes rink wide. Spooner to Hamilton. Spooner lets it go. And Erickson, I think, trying to tip that one, deflected it over the glass.
And that faceoff should come outside.
Looks like it's going to stay in the Vancouver zone to the left of Eddie Lack. Talk about Bergeron winning all these draws. He's 14-2 on faceoffs in this hockey game. We'll take this one against Sean Matthias. That's Soderberg, pardon me, taking the draws. Bergeron gets a rest. Lucic into the corner. Soderberg back to Chara. Left point, Smith. Pasternak back to Riley Smith. Chara at the right point. Long wrist shot. Lack to save. Loose puck. And Hughes clears it on the backhand and gets it out to center.
Well, and that could have been goaltender interference. I'm sure Eddie Lack had words with the referee on that one.
Puck was laying there, and Hughes able to find it, get it out. Now the Bruins move back in. 20 seconds to go in their power play. Hansen digs the puck free. He's hooked. There'll be a Boston penalty now. Lucic goes after Hansen after the whistle, trying to bring him with him to the box. Almost looked like he headbutted him there. But Lucic takes his team off the power play with 18 seconds to go in the Bruins man advantage.
Jannik Hansen gets the puck out of the pile, and Lucic with the hook, almost a high stick on Jannik Hansen. Now here's Soderberg. To me, that's interference. He's backing in. He's in the blue paint, and you see where Soderberg is, and he backs into Eddie Lack. And no call.
Fans reacting. They feel like Lucic, that maybe Hansen sold that one, but the Canucks will have a power play soon, and it'll be brought to you by Subway. Discover the new authentic Montreal smoked meat sandwich. Subway, eat fresh. They'll play a 4-on-4 for 18 seconds with Daniel Sedin still on the box before Vancouver moves to its first power play of the game.
Did they call it hooking? Yes. I didn't think there was a high stick, although I think that's what Jannik was trying to sell, but there was definitely a hook.
Seidenberg ices the puck. Not sure he knew it was 4-on-4. And they'll bring the face-off back into the Boston zone with 11 seconds to go in the Daniel Sedin minor.
And you can see Claude Julien.
There's no coach in the league who does perplexed better than Claude Julien.
And game's number 600 behind the Bruin bench, as you mentioned before. He's like, well, that's a veteran defenseman. And look at Seidenberg. He's probably saying, oh, I thought we were shorthanded. Okay.
Henrik Sedin has won 1 of 12 faceoffs in this hockey game as he loses that one. Marchand moves in on the right wing, spins on Weber, stayed right with him, wasn't biting on that, and Hughes gets the puck. Marchand trying to check in, but here come the Canucks. Daniels onto the ice, Vancouver's on the power play. Henrik Sedin to Daniel Sedin. Moves in on the left side, centers. Henrik couldn't get his stick on the puck. Weber moves down from the right point. Kassian, the Sedins, and Verbata, along with Yannick Weber, the power play unit for Vancouver. Henrik Sedin goes down in the corner. Chara's on top of him. Kassian gets the puck back to Weber. Nobody in front as he feeds over to Vrbata. Now Kassian goes to the front of the goal. Weber at the blue line. Near side, Daniel Sedin. Henrik Sedin. Back to Weber. One-timer. Tipped by Kassian. Stopped by Rask. And he's got the puck for the whistle with 58 seconds to go in the Vancouver power play.
Good job by Zach Kassian in front of Tuukka Rask. It's hard with Zdeno Chara. One of the best guys in the league at moving people from out in front. And Zach tips it. Tuukka Rask makes a save on the tip-in try as Kassian did get it up and over the stick of Tuukka Rask.
Second unit comes out for the Canucks. Bonino with Hansen and Higgins. Clendening and Hamhuis on the blue line. Here's Dan Hamhuis down for Nick Bonino. Into the corner, Christopher Higgins. Back to the right point, Hamhuis. Moves to the middle. Clendening. Doesn't shoot it. Trying to get it back to Hamhuis. Bergeron had a chance to move the puck out, but overskated it. The Canucks retake control. Higgins centers the puck, and Bonino took a look and missed the pass. All alone in front. Hansen at the blue line. Slap pass intended for Higgins. That's off Boston's stick and over the glass with 26 seconds to go in the Vancouver power play.
Bonino just back in the lineup, and you can tell he's only skated a couple of times. Is wide open in front. Good heads-up play by Chris Higgins. Takes a peek as he's over the boards. Takes a peek right there. Throws it to Bonino, and Bonino, as you say, John, he was turning to try and get in position to shoot it before he had the puck.
First unit comes back out. Bruins win the draw. Seidenberg gets the puck ahead off Weber. Held in apparently, but now Seidenberg gets it all the way down. And the Canucks have only 15 seconds of power play time left. Vrbata starts out. Radim Vrbata up the middle of center. Over the Boston line. Down the left wing. Vrbata with a backhander. Ooh, Rask somewhat awkwardly held that one up. As Vrbata went coast to coast and got a shot away on the backhand.
Tuukka Rask doesn't get square to Vrbata at all. And plays it off his body. Able to hang on.
5 seconds left in the penalty to Milan Lucic.
John, you talked about Tuukka Rask. He's played in 26 of the last 27 games. They've had backup goaltending problems. The other day he was throwing a chair in St. Louis when Malcolm Subban got the hook, and he thought he was getting a day off. Had to go in for the final half of the game.
He was tested twice on that power play. Canucks fail to score. It stays 1-1 with just under 9 minutes left in the second period. Biega loses the puck at center. Here's Spooner. He's got a teammate in front, and the pass blocked for the sprawling Lukas Spiza. Now a shot by Lucic, and he fluttered that one wide of the goal. Pastrnak, nice move. The 18-year-old on the 19-year-old Horvat. Spooner from the corner to the blue line. Bartkowski, right point. McQuaid with a shot. Lucic trying to tip it, couldn't get it through the pile. And here comes Ronnie Kennins for Vancouver. In on the right wing with a wrist shot, a hard one. But trapping it against the blocker is Tuukka Rask, and now Derek Dorsett into it. Lucic and McQuaid are after him. Looks like they'll separate. Little feeling here in the second. Still a 1-1 tie in Boston.
Have you ever wanted to design your own goalie mask? Well, now's your chance with the Canucks Design a Mask contest presented by Boston Pizza. You could win a replica goalie mask with your own personal design plus 2 tickets to a Canucks game. Visit a participating Boston Pizza in the Lower Mainland and start designing. And by the way, in the second intermission, we'll have a feature on Ryan Miller's mask and its design.
I like Tuukka Rask. Little character in it.
Face off to his left. And another win for the Bruins. This time Soderberg on Bonino, who's after the puck at center. Falls down, taps it out of the reach of Clendening, who chases back. And around for Stanton. Up the middle. Bonino missed the pass. And turning with a shot was Soderberg that deflected wide of the goal. Bonino. Checked. And again fails to get the puck out. Here's Paille centering. And a shot by Eriksson to stop. Rebound. Paille. What a save by Lack. Reaching back with the glove, I think. His mask is knocked off. And if I saw what I think I saw, he just made a remarkable save off Paille.
Well, and again, no goaltender interference call. Now, Eddie Lack doesn't have enough years experience or seniority to really give it to the referees, but it's one of those where you sit and you say, okay, going to the crease hard is one thing, but you have to protect the goalies. There's a save. Now there's Soderberg. He's right into Eddie Lack. Now that's not goaltender interference.
Stanton grabbed the puck. He put his hand on the puck in the crease after Lack made that marvelous stop. Watch the left arm of Eddie Lack.
And there's the save by Eddie Lack. It bounces right back to Ryan Stanton, and whoa! Soderberg goes crashing right over Eddie Lack. Man.
Could have been calling a penalty shot.
How about goaltender? You don't like the goaltenders union. The guy gets to steamroll the goalie and there's no call?
I wasn't commenting on that. I was commenting on a separate incident.
Yes. Fellow countryman?
No, I'm not Swedish. Here's Derek Dorsett. Banking the puck to center. Chris Kelly sends it back in. Spiza winds up with the puck. Just over 7 minutes left in the second. A 1-1 tie. Bruins have outshot the Canucks 13-5 here in the middle frame. 21-15 in the hockey game. Lack has been excellent. Krug tees one up. Chara with a shot blocked by Dorsett. Riley Smith works the puck to Brad Marchand. Now Smith to the blue line. Hamilton to Chara. Wrist shot off the goal stick of Lack and into the corner. Lyndon Vay tips the puck for Weber. He's checked. Marchand centers out of the reach of Bergeron. Bruins are buzzing into Vancouver zone again. Bergeron stopped by the right pad of Lack. And finally, Lucas Spiza gets the puck out. Dorsett's after it, but he's offside, and now he's bodied by Chara on the whistle. We'll check in with Murph as those two sort through their differences.
Size difference there, guys. We can say the Safeway's featured participating product for tonight's game is Refresh Spring Water.
Eddie Lack will need some of that, the way he's been worked in the last couple of minutes, and you can see he's still flexing from that body check from Soderberg. He gets up, right leg, perfect position, and you can see there 5-on-5 he's able to get at the top of the paint. When you're killing the penalty, you have to stay back a little bit, but there 5-on-5 he was out well to stop Patrice Bergeron.
Kassian and Chara were having some words before the drop of this puck. Dan Hamhuis winds up with it, carries it on the right wing. Hamilton intercepts behind the goal, tips the puck ahead to Payet. 6 minutes left. Second period, a 1-1 tie. Game 4 of a 5-game trip for the Canucks. Trying to get to 3-1. And they'll get an offensive zone draw here on the icing. Here's Murph.
Aquarium Kids Packs give families with young Canucks fans 2 outings for the price of 1. Each Kids Pack includes 4 tickets to an upcoming Canucks game plus 4 free passes to the Vancouver Aquarium, Canucks food combo, and more. Go to Canucks.com/kidspacks for details.
Chara and Kassian still going at it.
Keep an eye on them. Zach Kassian playing with the Sedins again. Puck comes to him off the draw. Back to Stanton. Kassian tips it in behind the goal. Daniel Sedin let it sweep by him so Henrik could feed it back. Clendening, long wrist shot blocked. Gets the puck again. Slaps it. I think he was trying to find Kassian to the side. Bruins are able to clear. 5.5 to go in the second. Stanton leaves the puck for Adam Clendening. Pass to Zach Kassian. He's checked at center, turns the puck over. Lucic breaks in. Soderberg's in front. Lucic shoots, stopped by Lack. After the turnover at center by Zach Kassian, now Henrik Sedin loses the puck momentarily. Gets it back and backhands it to neutral ice. Henrik and Kassian will head to the bench. Complete the Vancouver change as Horvat and Hansen come out to join Ronnie Kennins. Kennins takes a hit from Lucic as he plays the puck forward. Clendening chops it in and heads to the bench. Bruins swinging around to the far side. Hamhuis fires the puck back into Boston territory. Hansen hustles in on Bartkowski. Puck loose on the far side. Pasternak Checked by Hanhus. Here's Bartkowski from behind the goal. Tipping the puck to the far side. Again, Hanhus moves down from the left point. Pastrnak falls down. Puck stays in the Boston zone. Seidenberg able to pick it up, and he swings it around to Bartkowski. Here's Lucic. Pass into the middle. Gave it up. Hansen shoots. Just missed. Trying to go stick side on Rask. Weber dumps one wide. Horvat checked at the side. Rask grabs the puck, and he'll take the whistle. 4:10 left in the second. All even here in Boston. Canucks hockey on Sportsnet.
Vote for the Budweiser Goal of the Year, and you could win a Budweiser Red Light and tickets to an upcoming Canucks games. 2 of the best Canucks goals go head-to-head every 2 weeks, with the winner moving on to take on another challenger. Go to Canucks.com/Goal of the Year for more details.
I like a few of the Radom Verbata ones.
Yes.
You know the one, I can't remember where it was. Was it in Columbus when he stick handled it right around the goal?
Yes, and his feet were almost on the back boards. Dragged it back just inside the post.
He's out there right now, gets the puck off the draw. Wrist shot blocked. Matthias was after the rebound, but Louis Eriksson has the puck and he backhands it to center off the stick of Verbata and into the Vancouver bench for a whistle. Tomorrow on Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey. 4 o'clock on Sportsnet, the Calgary Flames take on the Devils. Canucks will have their eye on that, to be sure. Flames Devils tomorrow on Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey.
How about the surging Devils? Haven't they won 5 in a row now? 4 for sure.
Including a victory over Vancouver. The one blemish on this road trip so far. Under 4 minutes to go in the second here in Boston, a 1-1 tie. Spiza. Checked by Eriksson in the corner to the left of Lack. Eriksson to the blue line. Long shot by Seidenberg. Right pad saved by Lack. Paille couldn't get the rebound in the slot. Now Matthias the other way. Coming in on goal. Backhander stopped by Rask. Sliding to his left. Sean Matthias with a power move off the left side and a good chance in front. Now Higgins chases after a loose puck. Bartkowski gets there first. Quickly ahead to Paille. All we heard about Daniel Paille coming into this game was how he couldn't put the puck in the ocean. He's been pretty prominent this game and has a goal. Here's Higgins with a wrist shot. Mid-stride, kicked out by Rask. Rebound, Clendening, and over top of the net with that one. Puck might have stood up on him as he let it go. Higgins from behind the goal. Bruins clear to the side. And out with the puck is Jordan Caron. Across to Riley Smith, who moves in, cuts to the middle with a wrist shot, and that one sailed over top of the goal as well. Puck center, knocked away by Lack, picked up by Lyndon Vey, and he hooks it back behind the goal to Clendening. 2.5 minutes to go in the second. Vey, now Stanton. Pass hit Vey's stick, Daniel Sedin trying to move it in. Bruins send the puck the other way, Yannick Weber takes control. Ahead for Zach Kassian. Henrik Sedin into the middle. Here's Weber over the Boston line. Down the right wing. Weak wrist shot. And Rask able to grab it after making the stick save.
Sean Matthias with that power move you talked about. It's Dennis Seidenberg who's back. Seidenberg can't get to him. Has the stick on him and lets it go. So there's no penalty there. And Tuukka Rask has to go all the way across with him. And then gets the glove and the leg out to make the save.
Sedins and Kassian stay out for the offensive zone draw. Bruins control. Just over 2 minutes to go in the period. Here's Marchand. Ahead to Bergeron. Tried to back the puck down the boards. That was sent the other way, but the Bruins hold in the Vancouver zone. Hanhus battling for the puck in the corner. Marchand gets it. Henrik Sedin's on him. Bergeron with a shot. And that hit his own teammate Smith. Penalty coming up here. Another one to Vancouver. Rask to the bench for the extra attacker. Bergeron comes up front, puts the puck to the crease. Canucks knock it away, and there's the whistle. And more rough stuff. Marchand and Weber, who were at it earlier in the game. And they're locked up in front of the Vancouver goal once more.
And I think there's only going to be the one penalty.
Get hassle-free auto insurance and more from the friendly folks at Canadian Direct Insurance.
Bruins have really gone to the net hard. Smith and Hamhuis. Dan Hamhuis knocks Smith down. And Dan Hamhuis is going to the penalty box again.
His second trip of the period. What do they call Eddie Lack?
Called Eddie Lack.
Lack for tripping. So
Wow.
Kassian will serve the penalty. Canucks catch a break in terms of the fact that Hamhuis is able to stay in the game as a penalty killer. Here's Torrey Krug wristing one towards the net. There's the glove hand of Eddie Lack, grabbing that puck with exactly a minute and a half to go in the second period.
And you can see Eddie Lack saying, I never even touched him. And no, you had your stick in his feet. Eddie, who has been bowled over a couple of times.
Here's room for Hamilton to let fly. Loose puck in front. Lack, I think, was able to get the left skate on it, and the Canucks clear the puck down the ice.
We didn't have any trouble with the Dan Hamhuis cross-checking penalty. The Eddie Lack dripping penalty.
Bergeron moves in. Spooner in the corner. Pass picked off. Higgins able to intercept that one, and Horvat dumps the puck into the Boston zone. Final minute, second period. Canucks without Kassian, who's in the box. We haven't seen Nick Bonino in a while either. Took that puck off the leg. And hasn't been in the game for some time. It was just a pass attempt at center that hit him in the right leg. 35 seconds to go in the second period. Hamilton rushes the puck through center. Finds some room. Puck knocked away from him, though, and Stanton dumps it the other way. 20 seconds left in the period. Here's Lucic. Round behind the goal. His pass is off the mark, and the puck goes all the way down the ice. One last rush. Soderberg is in. Hooked. Rebound. Net is off. Whistle blows with 3.2 seconds to go in the period. And Carl Soderberg almost went mano-a-mano with Eddie Lack there.
And the faceoff's going to be outside with 3.2. Long pass, and for some reason, Soderberg gets in behind. And he has crashed into Eddie Lack a few times. Here's another one. And it looked like Eddie Lack and Carl Soderberg were friends earlier. I'm not taking him out to dinner if he's one of my friends.
With friends like that?
Yes.
Faceoff comes outside the blue line as the Bruins, the cause of the net being dislodged. And one last drop of the puck. Bruins power play will have 23 seconds remaining to start the third. But what a period for Eddie Lack. 20 shots he faced from the Bruins, stopped them all in the middle frame. 28 in the game he's seen, and Tuukka Rask stopped all 10 in the second. He has stopped 19 of 20 through 40 minutes. All even, 1-1 through 2. Here's Brad.
Welcome back to Boston. One period to go at the TD Garden. Canucks Bruins tied at 1. Scoring summaries brought to you by Panago Pizza. Before, during, or after the game, get a fresh Panago. All the scoring in the first, Paille with his second before Stanton tied it with his third. Shots in that second period, 20-10 for the Bruins. They now lead 28-20 in the game. Kassian's got 6 goals in his last 8 games, but forget the goals, help the celebrations. They had the stare down, the more traditional celebration here, the angry celebration on that goal against Chicago. That was the raising the arms and the no smile, and the shy smile, and then of course the wolf howl coming on Long Island. John?
Got to mix it up.
Yes.
Kassian in the penalty box serving Eddie Lack's minor. There's 23 seconds to go in that. Bruins on the power play to begin the third, and a 1-1 tie.
Remember Mike Foligno? We just saw him in New Jersey,
Yes.
and his celebration. Was it boring? No, he jumped every time he scored.
Multiple times.
Yes.
Bergeron tips the puck into the Vancouver zone. Marchand after it. Able to hook the puck to the blue line to Chara. 5 seconds to go on the Boston power play. Here's Hamilton skating in deep. Around the net. Centers Marchand jabbing away. Sprung is Lack. He's got the puck. And here comes Kassian under the penalty box. Sorry, there's 1 second left in the Boston power play. He'll stay there as they face off in the Vancouver zone.
Eddie Lack stacking the pads on Brad Marchand as he tried to just drag it around him. And he stretches out.
Bruins up to 29 shots in the hockey game. 12 of them, John, have been on their 3 power plays. Here's another one. That hit a body in front. Puck squirts free to the far side. Canucks are back to full strength. Bruins 0 for 3. And not often they get 3 power plays in a hockey game. They'll be ruining the fact they haven't been able to cash in. Stays 1-1. Canucks after the puck in the Boston zone. Here's Kassian from the corner. Knocked away from him. Marchand gets the puck. Slides it ahead. Tipped down by Riley Smith, and Alex Biega goes back for Vancouver. Biega starts out. Picks his way to center. Wrists the puck into the Boston zone. Kennens after the puck. Plays it to the corner. Bartkowski chips it ahead to Eriksson. Gives it away to Spiza. He plays catch with Kennens, and now Spiza starts up, feeds over to Biega. Lead pass, Hansen deflects the puck in, Rask out of his net to play it. Into the corner for Bartkowski. Horvat steals the puck, tries to get it to Kennens. It's loose on the near side, picked up by Ryan Stanton. Behind the goal to Horvat, looking out front. Bo Horvat centers for Verbata, drops to Clendening. Adam Clendening fakes the shot. Here's Horvat with room, lets it go. A weak shot and a stick save by Rask. Another test from Stanton sails wide. Clendening puts one towards the goal. Soderberg intercepts. And ahead to Louis Eriksson. Trying to go wide on Stanton. Now feeds back right point. Adam McQuaid plays the puck around. Clendening gets it for Vancouver. Spins deep in his own zone. Pokes the puck towards Stanton. It gets by him. Now turned over by Kennens. Here's McQuaid. Hooked by Bonino. Puck center. Pasternak gets it to the left point. Krug with a weak wrist shot. Eddie Lack watches that one go wide. Bruins with some pressure here early in the third. Lucic centering pass. Pasternak back to the blue line. Krug to the right point. McQuaid down to Spooner, who threw one towards the goal. Puck deflects to the far side. Krug is there. In for Pasternak, who fell down under the check of Stanton. Clendening can't get the puck out. It's thrown wide of the goal. Now Kennens at the end of a shift. He's out of gas, but throws a good hit on McQuaid to free up the puck for Stanton, and he gets it out. Verbata dumps it into the Boston zone, and the Canucks are able to make their substitutions. Here comes Chris Kelly. Leaves in his own zone. Krug shovels one ahead. Karam bobbled the puck, and back comes Derek Dorsett. Stripped of the puck by Kelly, who sends it around the far side. Brian Ferland checked it center by Chris Higgins. And Lyndon Veg collects in his own zone. Biega takes the pass and starts out. A little over 3 minutes gone in the third. A 1-1 tie. Alex Biega at center. Pass to Lucas Spiza, who spins and sends the puck behind the Boston goal. Bartkowski starts from deep in his own zone. Long pass ahead. Ferland deflects the puck through. Now moves in after it on Spiza. Gives him a good ride into the end boards. Lyndon Vey back for the puck. Checked by Bergeron. It's thrown in front, and Hamhuis there to tip it to the corner. After the giveaway by Lyndon Vey.
Smart read by Dan Hamhuis.
Here's Hamilton in for Boston. Long shot off the pads of Lack. Now a rebound in front. Lack another save on the doorstep. Riley Smith as the puck found its way to the front, and Lack has it.
Oh boy, Eddie Lack. He's going to get a pad adjustment. I think he wants a little break here. A rebound that I'm sure he doesn't not too crazy about, but then he gets himself in position to block Smith from right in front. Ronnie Cannon's on McQuaid. Good solid hit. And as you say, John, that was at the end of a very long shift.
I think he knew he wasn't going to get to that puck, so he might as well take the body, see if somebody else could come up with it, which is what happened.
They've got him listed at 6 feet, 200 pounds. I'm not thinking.
He's built like a bowling ball.
He is stocky, but
Face-off win for the Bruins. Marchand tried to feed the line. That was off the mark. Here's Daniel Sedin trying to find Kassian. Broken up by Zdeno Chara. The Bruins captain finds Bergeron. He's checked. Dan Hamhuis to Yannick Weber. Dangerous pass. Got it through to Kassian. Here's Henrik Sedin. Cross for Daniel. Chara able to reach out, knock that one away. Now a hand pass as Weber directed the puck to Daniel Sedin. 1-1. Here's how we got here.
Well, we'll go back to the first 5 minutes of this game as the Boston Bruins, a good start. Shot and a rebound, and Daniel Paille, a rare goal in the right spot as that rebound comes out to him, and then Ryan Stanton off Dennis Seidenberg's stick beats Tuukka Rask. High glove side. I know how much you love Twitter and people on Twitter giving it to me because I'm too sensitive to the goalies, but look up Rule 69.2 in your NHL rule book. It's such a vulnerable position. You're concentrating on the puck so much that that's one of the reasons that rule's in there.
Are we talking about goaltender interference?
Goaltender interference. Exactly what we're talking about.
Bo Horvat absorbs that check. Loses the puck. Bruins send it out. Clendenin. Can't get it out past Krug. Horvat back to help out. Finds Ryan Stanton. Lead pass. Jannik Hansen takes it cleanly. Wrists one in on Rask, who plays the puck to the side to Pasternak. Here comes Ryan Spooner. Horvat chasing him. Puck sent across. Now thrown towards the front. Knocked away by Lack with Lucic right on his doorstep. Jannik Hansen starts out with the puck. 5 minutes into the third. 1-1 tie. Hansen in on the right wing. Tries a shot. Blocked by Bartkowski. Hansen gets the puck again. Feeds back. Speeds over the drive. Stop. Rebound in front. And Matthias couldn't get to it as he came charging in off the right side. Bruins in transition. Soderberg to Seidenberg. Down to Eriksson. Now Paille from the corner. Eriksson picks up the puck. Turns and plays it to the right point. Seidenberg across. Bartkowski down to Paille. That one goes off the stick of Biega and over the glass for a whistle.
Great Canadian Oil Change. Family owned and operated. Superb customer service and new vehicle warranty approved products including Valvoline Premium Oils. Great Canadian Oil Change. Over 60 locations across Canada.
Willie Desjardins looking on. Dan Hamhuis again is going to be the high minute man in this game, even though he's taken a couple of minor penalties.
Stick saved by Lack. Chris Higgins trying to move the puck out. Here's Chris Kelly. Dorsett takes it away for Vancouver. He plays chip and chase. He's got some room on the right wing. He's got Higgins in front. There's the pass, and Seidenberg sprawling able to block it. Bartkowski headmans the puck to Paille. Dropped back, brought forward, shot in by Ferland. Lack out of his net. Plays it around the glass, can't get it by Hamilton. Long shot, and Eddie Lack got a piece of that. Kelly in deep for Jordan Caron. Trying to get away from Weber. Now Kassian intercepts the pass to the blue line. Tries to find Higgins at center. He takes the puck on the ricochet, dumps it in, and hustles to the bench. Chara hooked by Kassian. Bruins get the puck ahead. Here comes Bergeron. Rolls away from him. Canucks have a chance to turn it the other way. Henrik Sedin in to Daniel on the left side. Puts one on goal, hoping for a rebound. Puck goes to the far side. Kassian with a blast. He scores! Zack Kassian off the crossbar and in. And we get a new celebration to enjoy as the Canucks take a 2-1 lead.
Well, again, Boston turned the puck over at the Canuck blue line, and immediately it's turned up the other way. Henrik Sedin with the good entry, control in the offensive zone. Here's the turnover. Look at the Bruins. Now they want to change. They can't get it. They've turned it over. They come back, and they're in disarray right here. You can see the four Bruins at their own side of the net. And Zack Kassian with that high shot beats Tuukka Rask. Can't control that little shot. I don't think anybody tips that one. That's right underneath the bar. Henrik skates through. Bergeron goes by it and screens Tuukka Rask.
I know it was a completely different goal as the Bruins move in. Spooner with a shot attempt, and that goes to the corner. It wasn't off the rush. It was materialized completely differently, but did that remind you at all of a goal scored by another number 9 in this building? Cody Hodgson off the crossbar past Tim Thomas. Same sound, same reaction from the netminder. Canucks lead this one for the first time, and now Kennens is in on the left wing. Pastrnak gets a piece of him. Horvath from the corner. Sitters. Kennens took a swing at the puck, but the Bruins just got a stick on it. Disrupted the pass enough that Kennens missed. Now he tries to tip the puck into the Boston zone. It's back to the Vancouver blue line. Kassian from Daniel and Henrik at 6:47. His 9th, and the Canucks are up 2-1. 10 points in 10 games for Zach Kassian. Henrik Sedin now has 9 points in his last 5 games. And Daniel's been putting up the points as well. 8 minutes into the third. Bruins down by a goal. And they lose the puck to Sean Mathias. He finds Radim Vrbata back for Mathias. Pass was behind him. The play is offside and will step aside. Zach Kassian scores again past Tuukka Rask, and it's 2-1 Canucks. For the time in 10 games, Zach Kassian's produced a winner on score and win for Safeway and refreshed spring water from Charlie Lake. Brian Hampel, congratulations. You won a Bulova Marine Star watch.
Well, Zach gets in position to shoot it, but Lucas Sbisa makes the original play. The Bruins are kind of at the end of his ship. Lucas Sbisa to Daniel, or to Henrik to Daniel, and then Zach gets in position to shoot it and just wires it under the bar.
It's been on a roll. Month of February. Look at that shooting percentage. Put it on net. Good things happen.
Got down to one knee to follow through on that one.
Lyndon Vay deep in his own zone leaves the puck for Lucas Sbisa. Quick shift in the corner to get away from Caron. Now backhands the puck ahead. It rolls through towards Rask, who will glove it. Hang on for a face-off in the Boston zone.
Boston Bruins have had some problems, as we noted before the game. Broke their losing streak with that win in Chicago, but the game they played in St. Louis, they outshot St. Louis 27-15 and lost 5-1.
The game they lost David Krejci, and they could use him right now, trailing by a goal. Bruins have had the zone time, had the chances. Eddie Lack has stopped 32 shots. Here's Henrik Sedin ahead for Kassian. Couldn't take the pass cleanly. Bruins chip the puck ahead. Weber tried to move it in. Marchand taps it back into his own zone, and here's Dougie Hamilton to Zdeno Chara. Hamilton to Chara again. Pass right to Henrik Sedin. But then Chara reaching out to break up the feed intended for Kennens, and the puck goes out of play.
Ronnie Kennens has had an impact. You knew when Bonino came back, somebody'd be the odd man out. Brandon McMillan was the guy. I thought McMillan was pretty good on the island, but he hasn't had the impact of Kennens. He does something every shift.
Seidenberg backhands the puck in behind the Canuck goal. Clendening gives it away. Spooner with a shot, and it got through Lack. Quick whistle. But they stopped playing the Vancouver zone after Adam Clendening threw it right up the gut.
Oh boy. Eddie Lack in position. Canucks try and control the puck. They don't like to just use the boards, but Clendening, the boards are your friend. You're ahead 2-1. There's 10 minutes left. Make the safe play.
Lucic chops the puck wide of the goal on the resumption of play. Now he's after it behind the goal. Milan Lucic diagonally back. Barkowski with a long shot. Stanton kicked that away with the right leg, and Jannik Hansen takes control. Delays before passing to Bo Horvath. He's in over the Boston line. Here's Clendening with a wrist shot. Blocker saved by Rask. Bruins try to play the puck around. It goes over the glass behind the goal. There'll be a face-off in the Boston zone. We saw what Kassian's been doing of late. His line mates have been pretty hot as well.
Henrik Sedin, second star of the week in the NHL last week with those 4 consecutive multi-point games. Ice time still under 20 minutes.
Closing in on 900 points is Henrik, 3 away. Bonino with a face-off win. Spiza tried to find Verbata. That pass was out of his reach. Chara gets the puck and ahead to Paille. Rink wide at center. Soderberg takes the puck on the carry. Wrist sitting around the far side. Bonino spinning away from Paille. Verbata trying to get the puck in, but it stays in the Vancouver zone. Paille working on Biega, who grabbed it for a moment behind the goal. Play goes on. Here's Soderberg on net, up in the air, loose in the crease, and lacked down. Puck winds up in the corner. Here's Eriksson, taken down on the penalty to Matthias. Delayed call. Rask goes to the bench, and now as Matthias gets the puck, the whistle blows. He'll head off, and the Bruins down the goal to the power play when we come back.
The California road trip is back from March 20th to the 22nd. Canucks fans will descend upon LA to take the California hockey scene by storm. Packages include airfare, transfers, accommodation, game tickets, and exclusive experiences. Limited space, so visit Canucks.com. Book now.
Canucks scrambling in their own zone. Louis Eriksson tries to go to the front of the net. Sean Matthias reaches out, ends up with a tripping penalty.
Fourth power play for the Bruins. They're 0 for 3, but they've managed 12 shots. Crew couldn't make contact with that pass. And now Bergeron to Spooner. Settles the puck, and he shot it high and over the glass. Might have gone off a Canuck on the way through. Face-off will stay in the Vancouver zone. Just 9 seconds elapsed on the Matthias penalty.
The Canucks are losing so many face-offs, and when you're trying to kill penalties, there's another one.
Eddie Lack getting a piece of it. Now Krug centers. That one's tipped to the corner. Bergeron trying to deflect it in. Dougie Hamilton leaves for Ryan Spooner. To the blue line. Hamilton had it bounced over his stick and down the ice. Mention the Bruins have the fewest power play opportunities in the league this year, but they've been getting them lately. This is their 13th of the last 3 games. 4 of them tonight, and they've got 1:20 left on power play number 4. Krug to Bergeron, quickly to Hamilton. Here's Spooner, wrist shot blocked. Bonino gets the loose puck, and he backhands it down the ice. Penalty to Matthias is half over. Chara brings the puck out. Ahead to Pasternak. He bobbled it. And the Canucks dump it to the Bruins blue line. Daniel Sedin pokes the puck. And Chara collects. Leaves for Smith. Riley Smith to Milan Lucic. Gets around Spiza. Now around the net. Pass back to the line. Chara. Left point. Smith. Down the boards. Pasternak. Back to Riley Smith. Looks in front. Fakes the shot. Dishes off. Pasternak chopped it wide. Puck fluttered into the corner. Chara gets it at the right point. Quickly across. Pasternak. Lucic. And I think that went off Lack and wide. Soderberg was cruising through the slot as well.
I think that might have hit Soderberg in front. He's trying to be the screen, and you can see him talking to the referee now. Pass comes across. Hard one-timer. Soderberg's looking for it. Can't find it.
Where did it go?
Up over the glass.
Bruins peppering the Canucks with shots here in the third, but they've had trouble this season. Here's a shot by Krug and a glove save by Lack. He hangs on. 15 seconds to go on the penalty to Sean Matthias.
Bo Horvat is out for face-off duty.
Canucks have been getting killed, but they win possession on this one. They'd won just 19 of 50 prior to that.
Well, especially by Patrice Bergeron.
Final seconds of the Matthias penalty. Here's Bergeron in on the right wing. Wrist shot blocked. Verbata turns, gets the puck out. Matthias is after it out of the penalty box, and offside, they say. Tony Saracola blowing it down. And the face-off will come back into the Canucks zone with 7.5 minutes to go in the third. Boston now 0 for 4 on the power play.
Who's the best penalty killer? Your goaltender. Do I get to pick the stars in this game?
Go for it.
Thanks.
13 power play shots for the Bruins of their 36. Remember, Lack got all 27 he faced in relief on Long Island. turning to get away from Biega. Sends one back. Bartkowski wrists the puck around. Chris Kelly trying to settle it. Squeezes on him. Kelly makes a move behind the goal. Banks the puck back towards Seidenberg. In for Soderberg. Biega trying to stay with him. Puck is center. Goes loose to the far side. Vrbata can't catch up with it. Nick Bonino gets possession and he flips the puck out. Under 7 minutes to go, third period. This could be an icing call, but they'll say Paille was ahead of Stanton, who makes a nice play to Vey, and he backhands the puck out. Picked up by Higgins, in on the left. He shoots, stopped by Rask, who was out to challenge. And that might be a big stop by the Boston keeper. Keeping it a one-goal game with 6.5 to go. Now a whistle for an offside at the Vancouver blue line.
Well, the Canucks try and catch the Bruins, who are really pressing a long leader, and Chris Higgins does a nice job to track it down, but it's rolling, and he's got very few options. Just snaps it into Rask, reading the play very well, charged him and made the save.
Face off outside the Vancouver blue line. Chara passes to Hamilton, who tips the puck to the corner. Yannick Weber then tied up by Bergeron. Henrik Sedin will pick up the loose puck and start out. Daniel busting away at center, hoping to get that pass. It comes right through to Rask, and he'll take the whistle with 6:18 to go.
Rare face-off in the Bruins' end. Henrik and Daniel combining. Wonder about the backup situation for the Boston Bruins, and they tried Malcolm Subban for that one game in St. Louis.
Are they calling it offside? They're bringing the face-off all the way down the ice.
And you can see Doug Lidster is complaining about this one. I don't blame him.
Whistle didn't blow until Rask covered the puck, but the officials decided to bring the face-off into the Vancouver zone to the right of Eddie Lack. It'll be Horvat against Bergeron.
See the referee saying that's not my call.
Canucks have the puck. Horvat brings it out. Chips it ahead for Hansen. He tips the puck to the end boards. Rask out of his net. Plays it to the side. McQuaid is there. Krug takes his pass. Under 6 minutes to go. Third period. Canucks leading by a goal. Here's a giveaway. Hansen breaks in. Drop pass. Cannon's back for Hansen. And that's broken up by Krug. Bruins in transition. Riley Smith. Drop feed. Krug shoots. Lack the save, and he hangs on. Eddie Lack. How does he keep doing it? Canucks lead just over 5.5 to go in period 3.
Canucks Hockey. Brought to you by Subway. Discover the new chicken cordon bleu melt and Montreal smoked meat sandwich. Subway. Eat fresh.
Welcome back to Boston. Shop at Safeway today. Watch future Sportsnet telecasts, and you could win an all-inclusive trip for two to a Grand Bahia Prince Bay Resort, courtesy of redtag.ca, where Canada shops for great travel deals.
Canucks leading by a goal. 5:40 to go in the third. Face off to the left of Eddie Lack, who stopped 36 shots in this one. Yannick Weber pressured by Brad Marchand. Puck comes to Radim Vrbata, too slow to move it. Here's Marchand making a move behind the goal. Now centers the puck. Bergeron shot it wide. Weber under pressure. Now Marchand gets the puck, trying to bring it towards the front. Hamhuis all over him. Tips it for Daniel Sedin. Put it into the middle, gave it away. Had a chance to get it out. It's tipped on goal, steered wide by Lack. Hamhuis to Daniel. This time he goes off the boards and out.
The boards are your friend.
5 minutes left. Chara to Spooner. Wrist shot. Pad saved by Lack. Vrbata gobbles up the rebound.
Canucks changing.
Fans into it. We've seen a pretty good effort from the Bruins. This hasn't been able to get any pucks behind the Vancouver goaltender, save for Paille. Minute 5 into the game. Here they come again. Ferland round the net to the blue line. Now Bartkowski for Seidenberg, escapes the zone. Puck wristed back in, and Lucic, first man to it after tagging up. Ferland with a shot, blocked, and Bonino is hobbled again. Second time this game. Stays out there to battle for the puck, comes up with it, gets it to Dorsett, and he gets it out. Here's Soderberg trying to move in. Dorsett tied him up. Stanton gets the puck. Gets it to Clendening with under 4 minutes to go. Ahead for Ronnie Kennens, trying to find Horvat just out of his reach, and the Bruins trying to move through center. Now start from their own zone. It's Dougie Hamilton. Ahead to Paille. He runs into Stanton. Horvat missed the puck. Paille holds it in. Now it's outside the line. Hamilton banks it ahead. Eriksson in, but offside was Paille on the left. And the whistle blows with 3:23 to go in the third. Canucks trying to hang on here. Sportsnet Central after the game, and with a preview here, Eric Thomas and Ken Reed.
Full post-game reaction from Boston coming up.
And Devin Dubnyk's out to do something that no man has done in over 2 decades. We'll see you after the game.
Look forward to that. Bruins hoping to delay the beginning of said show. Trying to find a way to tie this hockey game. 3:20 remaining. And for 2 shifts in a row now, we've seen Radim Vrbata playing with the Sedins instead of Zach Kassian. Kassian with the go-ahead goal, but will assume trying to protect the lead. Willie Desjardins feels better about having Vrbata on the line. Andrews for Daniel Sedin, who tied up Seidenberg to allow the puck to get out. Now it's turned over. Henrik moves in with Vrbata, and he lost control of the puck. Chara takes it away, cuts right in front of his own net, but the Bruins break out. Smith to center. Backhands the puck in. Under 3 minutes to go. Lack out of his net. Tips one around. Cam Hughes trying to get it up the boards. Blocked by Seidenberg. Here's Yannick Weber. Loses the puck to Spooner. Shovels it around for Bartkowski, but Dorsett there. Couldn't get it out. Now a chance for Henrik Sedin. He slides the puck to neutral ice. Lucic has it across to Seidenberg. Lead pass broken up. Bonino plays the puck the other way. Here's Hamhuis. Rask looking towards the bench as the puck is thrown to the Boston blue line. Bruins turn it the other way. Spooner. And now Pasternak with a long shot. Lack couldn't control the rebound, but the Canucks pick up the puck, send it down the ice. It's going to be icing. And we'll see if they pull the goalie here in advance of the offensive zone draw. Canucks on a 5-game road trip. It concludes 2 nights from now. In Buffalo against the Sabres. It was supposed to be Ryan Miller's return as a Vancouver Canuck. Instead, it'll likely be Eddie Lack. Canucks and the Sabres Thursday. Our coverage begins at 3:30.
Will there be less snow in Buffalo?
I think that's certainly possible.
It was crazy here in Boston, the snowbanks. You and I walked back from the rink today and had to wend our way through in single file through all the sidewalks that are jammed.
Canucks have called their timeout here after the icing. And Doug Lidster strategizing with Vancouver, trying to protect a 1-goal lead with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the third period.
Who has been the best line for the Vancouver Canucks in this one? I think it was the line of Bo Horvat, Ronnie Kennens, and Jannik Hansen. They gave the Canucks some life after they were scored on early. Their next shift on the ice. Kennens had a chance, and then Ryan Stanton with the goal. Bo Horvat's been the best face-off person for the Canucks. People harassed Rob Kennens on that one. Played the offensive zone most of the time.
There's a long shot, and that goes off his stick and out of play. The Bruins have pulled the goalie. Minute 58 to go. Rask at the bench. Boston with 6 attackers. Bergeron against Bonino. Bruins win it. Krug leads for Eriksson. Looking in front. Pass picked off. Canucks. Hamhuis ices the puck. There'll be another face-off in the Vancouver zone. Minute 46 remaining in the third period.
Nick Bonino gets another crack at Patrice Bergeron, who has just been so good. 26-7.
Wins this one. Krug dumps one to the corner. Marchand gets the puck. Checked by Hamhuis. Bruins fight to get the puck back. Bonino battling in the corner. Now Boston comes up with the puck. Krug to the other side. A one-time attempt went off Dorsett and wide. Bonino gets the puck. Turns in the corner. Hooks it ahead for Dorsett. He gets the puck off Hamilton. Now dives out. Tips it to center. Chris Higgins giving chase. Checked by Torrey Krug. Bergeron backhands the puck to Marchand, and he hooks it into Vancouver zone. Back goes Ryan Stanton. Bodied in the corner by Chara, who's likely out there to go to the front of the net. 3 defensemen on the ice for the Bruins, and Chara does take position in front. Final minute, third period. Canucks trying to hang on. Puck sent to the blue line. Krug with the drive, deflected, loose. Black is down. Puck still loose, and finally Vrbata finds it, can't clear, and a shot hits the referee. Vrbata gets the puck, took a shot at the empty net. It was blocked at center. Soderberg moves back in on the right wing. 35 seconds to go. Spiza to the side. Here's a shot at the empty cage. Again, it's missed. Daniel Sedin took the risk. It's an icing call with 30 seconds to go.
Well, the Canucks all collapse in front of Eddie Lack. The shot gets through. He stops the first one, stops the second one, and now the scramble ensues. And the puck is, Krug takes the shot. It's a high one, hits the referee beside the net. Now the Bruins are calling their timeout.
29.6 is what remains officially. Claude Julien.
Dougie Jarvis is in charge of the whiteboard.
In charge of the white hair as well. Daniel Sedin had all kinds of time on the far side of the ice to maybe move the puck ahead, try to get it down without the icing call, but took the crack at the empty net.
Yes, he did.
You mentioned Bergeron and how good he's been on faceoffs tonight.
Well, his timing is so good. He's not the strongest guy in the world, but his timing is so good. There's a clean timing goal. Timing faceoff. Another one, a clean timing faceoff. Another one. It's just time and time again. Say, well, is it luck? No, it's all real good timing, and he's got a good reputation. The linesmen respect him. And
another win and a shot wide by Marchand. That was the 30th win in 37 faceoffs for Patrice Bergeron. 20 seconds left. Here's Krug in the blue line. Moves to the middle, lets it go. That sailed wide of the net. Loose puck to the side. Bruins still have it. Hamilton's in deep. 10 seconds left. Thrown in front. Lack grabs the puck with 9.2 left on the clock.
Eddie Lack has been on such a roll that you just keep looking at the clock and think, is that thing running down? Is it really working?
Bruins have 41 shots. They have 9.2 seconds left to try to produce some more. Henrik Sedin tied up Bergeron and the puck. It's loose on the near side. Canucks fighting for it. 2 seconds left. And this game is over. And is this one ever worthy?
And now Derek Dorsett is getting mugged along the sideboards.
Eddie Lack comes over to join the pile. Now he's being escorted away. Canucks with a huge win here in Boston. Improved to 3-1 on the road trip. And this one definitely deserves a Lack dance.
Yes.
He stops 40 of 41, and the Canucks beat the Bruins 2-1.
And Eddie Lack, this year with Ryan Miller, his attitude has still been the same. He's been the great personable guy, but he knows that he had to work every day in practice and work on his technique and work on his concentration, and Eddie has done all of that.
Your 3 stars.
Well, Zach Kassian with the winner has had a good game, and again playing with Henrik and Daniel Sedin. Patrice Bergeron. Why did the Bruins have so many shots? Why did they have so many chances? They were in control of the puck, but they just couldn't beat the #1 star.
Eddie Lack in his first game since the injury to Ryan Miller, his first start, and did he ever give the Canucks confidence? Gave up the first goal, but it came back to tie it, and it was a third period tally from Zach Kassian that won it. 3-1 on the trip, headed to Buffalo. We're done here in Boston.